We're here, gathered here today,
Drunk recap?
to recap the history of The Predator, starting from the Predator film, 1980... Lawrence?
1987.
Up until The Predator...
2018.
We're quite drunk.
We are very drunk right now.
Drunk recap.
We are just like steaming this from memory. So it's like, okay, so we are going to start from The Predator.
It opens up, middle of space, spaceship flies through and towards Earth. Predator. You get like a mad sweep over like the jungle. Helicopters come in and that's when you get and then you're introduced to Dutch, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, who starts throwing out his battalion.
Dude,
like
that dude's so jacked.
He's just like smoking a cigar, and then he's greeted by the sergeant at that particular base, and he heads up the sort of Vietnamese hatch that they've got set up. Brief discuss of tactics, and then you get the best handshake scene in the world. Dylan! You son of a bitch! What's the matter? CIA got you pushing too many pencils? Except it's much more sexy because there's giant...
They're so fucking
jacked! And then Dylan decides, you know what, I can't arm wrestle Arnold Schwarzenegger. He subsides.
He does. He's Apollo Creed though, so
Yeah.
he's like lightning.
Yeah.
Apollo Creed. You gotta fucking remember that dude.
Comes running out. He's got
Technically, he did win on decision in Rocky 1.
That is a very fair point.
Technically,
Apollo Creed versus Arnold Schwarzenegger. Fair fight. I'm saying. One of the greatest travel to the destination scenes ever put
shit!
together.
Where they're in the helicopter. He's chewing. He's like, you fucking slack jaw faggots.
This stuff will turn you into a goddamn sexual tyrannosaurus. You're just chewing on chewing tobacco. And then Shane Black, who unfortunately is the director of the newest film, he's there making he's making pussy jokes that are as bad as his newest film. I was riding my girlfriend's house the other day, and she's like, I wish I had a big pussy. I wish I had a big pussy. Yeah, me too. Mine's as big as a house. And then it's just silence. It's pure silence.
No one appreciates the joke.
No,
and it's
no.
like, why would you do this to me?
Yeah.
They get into the jungle, they sort of abseil down, they find a helicopter that's crashed, and there's a bunch of military dudes start following the tracks of the guerrillas, and that's when they come across issues.
It's like from the trees you see the Predators like...
my man Billy, he chops the vine in half. Yo man, I'm drinking from this. It just looks like water, but you know it was nasty sap. He hears a noise, he gets so excited that when he sees like a flayed body, then you get Arnold Schwarzenegger delivering another famous line, I knew these men, cut them down. Yeah,
And at that point, you're like, oh shit, what's going
you're
on
like,
here?
you're like, these guerrilla soldiers are really fucked up. It's like, Jim Harper. Then you get like the most high octane action scene. I think it beats action scenes of today. Guys getting like silently taken out. Arnold Schwarzenegger lifts a fucking truck, sticks bombs on the truck and just lifts. He's jacked. One of the most quotable lines from The Predator is, "You're hit. You're bleeding, man. I ain't got time to bleed." And then he's like, he acknowledges for a second, and then he just fires a grenade. You got time to duck. And then he just blows up and all dust is falling down.
Such a badass scene, dude.
And then they trash them all. He finds like Dylan searching through some paper. He slams him on the back and throws him up. It's all bullshit. I love it. You cut this funny story up and now you've landed us in the jungle. It's like,
Lawrence is proper going in on the accent right now.
Lawrence fucking loves The Predator.
Lawrence knows the film
He's
of
been
like...
doing this since he was like fucking
If
12 years
this
old.
video is like half narrated by Lawrence, you have him to thank for it. He's just like, Lawrence just knows what he's on
He
about.
fucking loves it.
I needed you, Dutch. My men are not expendable. And he just like leaves him like hanging. And then fucking Shane Black runs in, he tells him another joke. Bill's like staring at him like, that wasn't funny. And the guy runs off and he's like,
Predator's like recording it all.
I'm gonna save that.
I'm gonna save this in
Need
my...
that later on.
Gonna need that when I
Put
die.
this in my archive.
Billy's like just staring into the woods, isn't he? What do you see? Something in the jungle, Dutch. And then the chick smacks Shane Black over the head and starts running away, and Shane Black goes running after her. It's like, why are you running? Why are you running? He just gets like wiped out by by the predator.
Shit. He just get annihilated.
He just get fucking murked.
She's just there like talking in like Colombian, I'm guessing. She just says the jungle came alive and took him. Bullshit. Dutch just sort of like creeps behind a bush and you just sees this pile of guts just on the floor. Fan out like looking for him. Like it's been a while, and Tennessee, the fucking Texas guy, going through the jungle with like his fucking minigun. Shot in the shoulder once and he gets shot through the chest. And he drops to the floor and Max sees him. He runs and he picks up his machine gun and he's like... They just start like shooting the shit
7 hours is like...
Literally no reload. Arnold Schwarzenegger's there like holding like an M15.
The best part is that the guy had like lost an arm with this boy nanny, so he's fucking...
No.
Is that later
on? That's
on?
later on. Yeah, man. Like, and then like Max just there like talking to his dead friend who's just been killed. You man, like kicking back, drinking. Then he hears a pig and he thinks it's the predator. And he just like runs after it. I'll kill you, motherfucker! He's stabbing the shit out of this pig. It's like, and you think like he's killing the predator, and then you realise it's just like a boar. And then they go back to like his friend's corpse, and his friend's like vanished, and like that's when Arnold Schwarzenegger's like, he's using the trees. The next day, like Billy's like, I don't know, man, but I'm scared, Dutch. Bullshit, Billy. You ain't scared of nothing. We're all gonna die. If it bleeds, we can kill it. The predator like healing itself and it clips its thing in its leg and it's like... It's like the scariest scene because like it's such a human noise but at the same time so alien. Like setting up their own little traps and they set up that big log swing. Oh. They're all sat there, aren't they? Like they're looking out into this giant open space with their guns. And then that Colombian girl starts talking about like how people are like getting skinned alive. That it'd come before, like when she was a kid. Then what you call Arnold Schwarzenegger, I guess he kind of just gets fed up. So he just starts walking out into the middle of it. And something trips it. People start shooting everywhere. And a giant log comes and hits the guy who translates everything for them. Dylan and Mac run off into the jungle to go and get the predator. And Billy all take off with Dutch just to like get out of there. Dylan's like running up and like breathing really heavily and like he goes from like having a 6-pack to a beer belly about 6 times. And then like he finds Mac. He's over there, past the trees. And Mac starts like going through the woods and so does Dylan. Because he was like crawling under, I think he was like... And then like the thing like crawls up his shoulder. Then Dylan manages to come all the way around. Mac. And he pulls like the curtains aside and Mac just like had like half of his head blown off. He jumps out of the bushes and his arm just gets blown off. And it lands on the floor, it's like shooting like mad. The predator is just full on sprinting at him. He's got barely enough time to like whip out his gun and then the predator just like jabs him in the stomach with his wrist blades and he just lifts him up and he's like, ah!
Fuck blade.
Fuck blade. Billy's just there like he's stood on the log and like, nah, I'm staying here. I'm gonna fight folk. And he like throws his gun off the log and rips off his shirt. Arnold's just like, Dylan! No, Billy! Nah, I'm not coming. And so like they carry on running. And Billy like whips out this fucking decent machete. Just carves this massive line along his chest. He's like, come on, I'm ready for you. And then just cuts them all fucking running away. And he goes from like badass Billy to and they like he just picks up his gun because he drops it. Arnold Schwarzenegger kicks it out. He's like, no! The predator just shooting the guy who's pretty much crippled. Go! Get to the chopper! He runs through the woods for a little bit and then he goes down a slip and slide off the cliff. It's like, front flip and lands just fine. That's when the mud situation happens. Yeah, I don't know how, like, I don't know how he got it.
It causes his cold blood pressure.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but the mud would warm up eventually. It's not a fucking human body.
No,
also, there are
like
gaps in between the fucking mud where you would see his body temperature. The predator can literally see a fucking squirrel through a goddamn tree trunk. The fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger puts on some mud and he's fine.
Yeah. After the predator like buggers off, Arnold Schwarzenegger just wipes a bit of mud off. He's like, he couldn't see me. Then he starts like laying traps for the predator. Cuts to him cutting out Billy's spine. Cuts back to him, got a giant flaming torch. Just goes, ah! And then predator's just like, what? What is happening?
That's a good scene.
And then there's this like really long intense scene of like they're both being like really stealthy, like by firing arrows and shit, and him being invisible. Arnold Schwarzenegger like climbs into this tunnel, sets it alight when the predator follows him inside. He does like a swing on this branch, the branch breaks, and he's just there like chilling on a log floating in the water. And then the fucking predator's wrist blades expand out and like trap his head like that. He's like, ugh. And then the longest unveiling of a mask ever is like,
This
is Predator, not The Predator, where that theme tune's always there. Does that stupid fucking...
Do the thing, Lawrence.
He takes the thing off and he's like, you're one ugly motherfucker. And then like the Predator just goes... Like Arnold Schwarzenegger picks up a log, throws it at him. The Predator just puts his arm up and it just breaks. He just goes, bad idea. And then he starts getting like shit kicked out of him. He like runs like underneath this log that is like got spikes on it. Like it's like a double bluff because like he wants the Predator to go around the other way to him anyway. Come on, kill me, I'm here, kill me! And the Predator goes right in the wrong way like he wanted him to. And then like he looks at him and just like kicks a stick out. This giant log falls on his head. What the hell are you? What are you? And then the most sinister laugh in film history comes on. He's like, beep, 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 beep. He's like,
oh, just that fucking creepy laugh.
Whole fucking jungle explodes and Arnie rides away in a helicopter. Exactly. Predator 2 then opens up 1997 Los Angeles. Like this Colombian Jamaican drug war like unraveling and like the police are fighting the Colombians. Two officers like pinned down and then Harrigan like just drives in and he's like bossing it.
Oh dude, he's badass in that scene. Everybody else is trying to have a bit of a hard time getting in there and it fucking...
He just drives through and he whips out a shot and goes, I've got words from the colonel. No one's allowed to enter this building. Like, fuck the man! It's like just goes inside anyway. They find like all the Colombians have like been wiped out because in a previous scene you saw like he like had like a jar of like cocaine. Takes a massive whiz like Hunde! Andale! And they find the guy that's like off his face on coke. He's like up on the roof, wigging out, and then he sees the Predator like drop down. Ah! He sees him. Mike Harrigan just shoots him because he raises his guns. Then you work out that he has a touch of vertigo because he's in light heights. And then cut to the introduction of the actor from Aliens. What's his name? Such a famous actor. But anyway, he's brilliant. He's like trying to tell like a story and he gets like his bollocks squeezed.
I think you're up to.
And then...
They're lying.
Then you see the Jamaicans like killing the Colombians.
They're mine.
Yeah, but you're gonna ruin
We're
the video
doing a
with the
podcast, you fucking clown.
Yeah, just sober a little bit.
Well, like, basically, the Jamaicans kill the Colombians. They, like, skin him alive while he's trying to have all the sex. You greedy shit.
Fuck off.
Eat that shit first.
Oh, yeah.
And they decide to, like, check out the scene later because the FBI is getting way too much on their business. And Danny Boy goes up way too early. And he tries to collect a scepter. And he gets got by the Predator. Then Harrigan's like, I want to know where this came from. I want to know what killed my partner. Then he goes to King Willie. And King Willie's like doing all this like deceptive shit, throwing bones on a bin. Time to go. That's Arnold. Like, hold on.
He's not in this movie,
sandwich
Lawrence.
man. Hold on. I am Jamaican. Time to go.
That's the
Mr.
worst Jamaican voice
Mr.
I've ever
Policeman.
heard.
He still sounds quite old.
He's like, time to go, Mr. Policeman. And like, Matt Harrigan buggers off, and then like the Predator shows up and whacks King Willie.
Essentially, the Predator's like cleaning up bare
he's just
street
like
crimes.
stalking everyone.
He's like,
the
the
Predator is
Predator-
the greatest
the Predator-
vigilante.
Predators was just like putting bare ends street crime is like ending the Colombian drug cartel is like ending just
No,
like
Rob.
finished after the Predators
He's a
beating him
great
down.
anti-hero.
Yeah.
Then he attracts a train. He kills literally everyone on it, but because one woman's pregnant, he just leaves her alone. He'll kill innocent people, disabled old women, but that's like the line he won't cross. Harrigan goes on this massive thing and he ends up in a meat factory. And the scientist guy is like, it must like meat. He uses like liquid nitrogen to distort the thermal vision of our bodies. And he goes in like 5 seconds, the Predator just changes the way that it sees things on its little radar thing, and all of a sudden it can
Yeah,
see
it's
it.
got like cheat hack vision. It's like
Yeah.
I don't need this shit. I can just like switch
can
it to
see
whatever I
like
want.
so many
Like-
different visions.
Yeah, it's like
They like it's such a big deal about him, and then the Predator just fucking presses a couple of buttons.
Yeah.
He just changes from thermal to motion cap. Just chops Gary Busey in half.
yeah.
My Harrigan just like pumping the shit out of him like with a shotgun. Tries to take his mask off and he gets like halfway through. He's like, iconic, you are one ugly motherfucker. Throws him over. He's like, fuck this, I'm out of here. Climbs up a ladder that magically reaches to the roof. And like, he's just there like chilling for a while. Pigeons fly by. He's like, fucking hate birds. He just like full on drops him off like the side of the building. Calls the Predator pussy face. Predator's just like, shit happens. And then like cuts he cuts his arm off, he goes flying through a window. There's this awful animatronic scene where he's apparently supposed to be giving himself an injection, but like it's like a back shot of like this awfully animatronic Predator body just going like that. He like follows him through a corridor. This old woman just there and he's like, it's alright, I'm a cop. I don't think he gives a shit. And he jumps into the elevator and some guy just hits like bottom floor and he's like, no, stop the elevator. And he just like drops through the fucking hole and all of a sudden he's like on top of a Predator ship that's just below some random elevator.
Yeah, it's just in a fucking random tunnel in it.
Then he like has like a steam fight with the Predator in this room of steam. And like he stabs him in the belly with his own disc. There's like the longest scream ever. So it's like an hour of He rips it out. Predator dies and he gets a gun for his troubles. So
Flintlock
a
pistol.
flintlock
Yeah.
pistol for his bother.
He does, yeah. I'm fucking tired as shit.
Start drinking some more then.
I can't make me more tired.
So
Let's
Predators.
talk about Predators.
I don't know
Predators.
Predators that well. I genuinely don't know
Predators
Predators that
is
well.
basically like Hunger Games.
Yeah, it's like a game reserve.
I don't know if
It's Hunger Games, but with people being abducted from planet Earth that are volatilely, dangerously people, and they get dropped on some planet Predator. So basically, you have to go find the conch. Jennifer Lawrence is there probably,
There's something for Lawrence's there.
and it's like I don't know where my phone is, so it's like I don't know.
It's
where-
on my dick.
Okay. They get to the conch. They get attacked by the dogs, the predator dogs. Do you remember that bit?
Yeah, I remember a lot happening before that, but let's leave it.
Yeah, but it's like they just walk through the forest. It's like we're on a different planet, dude.
There's a booby trap scene where they realise that someone tried to make a last stand. Then Danny Trejo gets baited. He's like becomes clickbait.
he's not a lead man, is he?
Danny Trejo clickbait.
He's always
like
the guy that
halfway
gets
in.
fucking killed.
Danny Trejo clickbait.
Help me.
The predator attacks and it's like, oh, the predator attacks and dozens of people die. It's like 2 people over there, 2 people over there maybe. I don't know.
Everyone's over there, really.
Everyone's okay
At
except
this
for me,
point.
Alex Lawrence, and me. We escape into the woods and then we meet Sir Lawrence Fishburne, who is like, bitch, I got a heart out for the predators, and it's like, fishing, you can
That's
be
really
swinging in the...
racist,
That's super racist.
considering he's the only black character.
He is, yeah.
What?
After the African man dies, he's the only black character.
Well, you do a better impression, Lawrence.
What's up, man?
He's just there like, shh, they can hear you.
I've been living this planet for 700 centuries, dude.
Listen, it's 9 seasons.
Well, excuse me, Mr. Predator franchise boy.
Muggins, if we're ever talking about Legend of Zelda, we'll let you have your moment.
Okay.
But fucking shut
Well,
up.
you take the anchor on this one, Bellend.
Nah, I've been doing like 3.5 movies by now.
You know the Predator better than anybody else.
You do.
Lawrence Fishburne tries to smoke everyone out, and then Adrian Brody shoots a bomb and makes the Predators show up, and the Predators kill Lawrence Fishburne and a Russian man who like finishes it off by going "Sikada boy," and then blows everyone up. And then Walton Goggins jumps on a Predator's back, starts stabbing it, gets flipped
Discount
over.
Rick Grimes.
Yeah, discount Rick Grimes gets like his spine ripped out, and he's like fine with that.
I'll do this a bit in the forest where it's like
Ninja dude goes like full on samurai. That
it's like it's not
such
cool
a
enough.
Such a racially conflicting statement. Ninja dude goes samurai. We're in trouble. He kills and dies, and then Adrian Brody goes full on Arnie and milks himself up in chocolate sauce and sets fire to a lot of things. And like he's like running around going, "Come on, I'm here, kill me!" Then he kills like the Predator. I've missed out a bit with the psychopath, but we all know what happens there. He gets blown up.
It's a good night.
Yeah, it's a good time for everyone. Yeah, that'll teach him for trying to play Venom. And then the Predators ended. Are you alright?
No, I'm gonna pass out.
I'm gonna finish my drink. I'm gonna go have a fag. And I think I'm gonna go to bed. Pringle. Chuck was a cuffin.
I just lost my phone.
I said chuck me a cushion. Not chuck your phone.
Oh my god, I don't know what my phone is.
You couldn't.
Da-da-da-da-da.